This man said, why every time I meet a woman, she's behind on her bills or she needs help with a bill? If that's something that you're questioning and it's bothering you, upsetting you, that you have to bring it to the internet, you don't need to be meeting women right now.
And if you are not financially stable, you do not need to be worried about being in a relationship.
What are your thoughts on the following statement? Dating for women is like shopping, while dating for men is like a job interview that he's paying for.
Yeah.
If you do not have money as a man, what is your worth? And I'm asking this as a genuine question.
Women want 1950s men on 2025 salaries. And I need to talk about it. It's your girl Rene here. And today, we're going to do something different. We're going to do the math. Because there's a conversation happening that no one wants to have, honestly. Women want providers. They want protectors. Men who pay for dates, buy the ring, fund the wedding, put a roof over the family's head. And there's nothing wrong with wanting something like that. But here's the problem. Economy that made that possible doesn't exist anymore. The salary that supported that lifestyle is gone. And men are being judged by standards that are mathematically impossible for most men to even meet. So today, I'll show you why both men and women are frustrated, why dating feels broken, and what we're actually dealing with in 2025.
So if you're making $50,000, don't date. Ooh. I'm just being for real. You're not ready to date.
Again, I'm with you.
You're not ready to date. You're not ready to date because courtship costs.
Okay.
Everything costs.
Okay.
You can go for 22 walks in the park. Eventually, shorty is going to need a sip of something. She's going to be thirsty. This bottle of water is $3 in Atlanta. Let's not play. So if you don't have any expendable cash, don't date. And whatever that looks like for you, you might only make $50,000, but you live in a shoe. And now you got expendable cash.
Let's go back to the 1950s for a second. Because when people talk about traditional relationships, that's the era they're referencing. In 1960, the median home cost $11,900. The median income was $5,600. That's a price of income ratio to 2.1. So what does that mean? A house costs about 2 years of salary. A regular man working a regular job could buy a home, a car, raise kids, and save for retirement on one income. 3 out of 5 families became homeowners. The American dream wasn't a dream. It was just life. Now, let's look at 2025. The median home price is around $495,000. The median income is about $68,000. That's a price to income ratio of over 7. Housing costs have increased 129% since 1960. Income has only went up 39%. Let me say that again. Housing went up 129%. Wages went up 39%. That's not a gap. That's a canyon. According to the National Association of Home Builders, 77% of American households cannot afford a median price new home. Almost half can't even afford a $250,000 home. When women say they want a man who can provide like it's 1955, they need to understand something. That man would need a time machine, not a better job. Now, let's talk about the 6-figure requirement. You've seen it. Women on dating apps, TikTok, podcasts, saying they won't date a man making less than $100,000 a year.
Women literally hold the portal to life, and whether we decide to use it or not, or have the ability to use it or not, it's still there. And that's why women will always be worth what we are. But as a man, if you cannot protect your family, provide for your family, give abundance to your family of wealth and happiness, what are you worth?
Look, I get it. In an expensive world, financial security feels important. But let's look at the actual numbers. Only about 13 to 15% of men in America earn 6 figures. That's it. Not 50%, not 30%, just 15%. Which means 85% of men are automatically invisible, filtered out before they even get a chance. You've probably heard of the 666 rule. 6 feet tall, 6-figure income, 6 inches. If you do the math on how many men meet all 3 criteria, maybe 1 to 2% of the male population. So women are filtering for the top 1%. then wondering why they can't find anyone. Hun, if only 15% of men earn six figures and 38% of single women say they can't find someone who meet their expectation, maybe the expectation needs examining. I'm not saying lower your standard. I'm saying check if your standard is based on reality or Instagram. Because the economy doesn't care about your checklist. Inflation doesn't negotiate with your dating preferences. Let's talk about what it costs to date in 2025. Because I don't think women fully understand what men are dealing with financially just to pursue them. The average American spends $2,279 on dating. The all-in cost on a single date includes grooming, gas, dinner, is around $168. Men specifically spend about 20% more than women on dates. Research shows that it takes 7 to 10 dates before becoming official. So, before a man gets a girlfriend, he spends between $700 to $1,600 just on audition. And here's what makes it worse. 67.9% of Americans feel financially stressed when planning a date. That's not a small number. That's most people. Men are stressed. They're doing mental math before every swipe, every message, every let's grab dinner. And when the date goes nowhere, that money is gone. That time is gone. The stress stays.
If a man starts telling you about his financial troubles, he does not like you. I have a Jamaican friend, and he told me, he said, if a man starts telling you about his financial troubles, he does not like you. He said a man will go and borrow money before he tells a woman that he likes his financial troubles.
Dating has become a luxury. And when you're in survival mode, luxury is the first thing you cut. So, when men stop asking women out, it's not always because they're scared. Sometimes they literally can't afford to try anymore. Now, let's say a man finds someone, they fall in love. He wants to propose. Here comes the next financial test. The average engagement ring costs between $5,000 and $7,000. In some cities, it's closer to $10,000. There's this old rule that a ring should cost 3 months' salary. For a man earning $60,000, that's $15,000. The average wedding in America costs $30,000. Some studies put it closer to $35,000. Let's add this up. The ring, $5,000 to $15,000. Wedding, $30,000. Total, $35,000 to $45,000. And that's before the down payment on a house, before kids, before life. She wants the ring, the wedding, the house, the lifestyle. And those three things combined cost more than most men make in an entire year. So, when men hesitate to propose, it's not always cold feet. Sometimes it's empty pockets and a calculator showing red. There's a phrase going viral. Being a provider in 2025 is a scam. That's from the soft guy era movement. And whether you agree or not, it's resonating with millions of men. One creator said, "You want me to pay 100% of the bill while you stay home. How are we supposed to afford private school on one income?" And he's not wrong to ask. The single income household is basically extinct, not because men don't want to provide, because the math doesn't allow it. Half of American households can't afford a starter home. A starter home, the entry level. Rent takes 30 to 50% of income. Groceries up 30% since 2019. Everything is up. And men are supposed to absorb all that while being sole providers, while paying for dates, while funding weddings. That's not a standard. That's a fantasy. Men are waking up to the fact that the provider role, as traditionally defined, is economically impossible for most of them. Here's where it gets complicated. And ladies, this part is important. Women want equality in the workplace, equal pay, equal opportunities, equal respect, and you should have all of that. But many women also want men to be the primary provider, to earn more, to pay for dates, to buy the ring. You can't have 1950s benefit with 2025 equity. The math just doesn't work. If you want him to out-earn you and you're also competing for the same high-paying job, something has to give. And here's what's happening to women too. You're drowning in student loans, struggling with rent, working multiple jobs. The economy isn't just breaking men, it's breaking everyone.
A man is not responsible to pay your bills during the dating phase. Like, y'all be letting social media get to y'all head. Y'all over there talking about, so a man can't text me what I'm doing and my rent is $3,000. Why is your rent $3,000? Why did you accumulate all that? Okay, that wasn't his fault when you decided to stay there.
Both genders are holding on to expectations from an era that doesn't exist, then blaming each other when reality doesn't match the fantasy. So, what happens when the math doesn't add up, when effort doesn't equal reward? Men stop trying. And I need to say something directly to the men watching this. Bro, you're not failing. The system failed you. I see you doing everything right and still being told it's not enough. Working full-time, building, trying to provide, and still feeling behind. You're not broke. The world is broken. Men aren't disappearing from dating because they don't want love. They're disappearing because love has become unaffordable. Dates they can't afford, rings they can't buy, homes they can't purchase. And the whole time, being told they're not enough. So they stop playing a game they can't win. They focus on themselves. They protect their peace. And women call them selfish, but they're not the problem. The economy is the problem. Ladies, your expectations aren't the problem, but the economy that shaped those expectations is gone. You were sold a fantasy. Social media showed luxury lifestyles, high-value men, soft life aesthetic. Wanting security isn't gold digging, it's survival instinct. In an uncertain world, wanting a stable partner makes sense. The problem is the economy made stability impossible, and nobody adjusts expectation accordingly. Both genders are drowning. Men under financial pressure and impossible standards. Women in a dating pool that feels shallow and disappointing. But only one side gets blamed for not swimming fast enough.
When I do choose to go on a date, I want you to feed me. I don't want to just go for drinks. And I feel like a lot of people will say like a coffee date or like, let's just go for drinks and like see if we vibe and then let's do dinner the next time. I see that as like, you're cheap. No. Let's go to dinner. Let me see the way you order. Let's see your mannerisms. Let's see the vibes. You're going to order one dessert or two desserts. Let's see how generous you are. And I don't know, like I feel like already when you're going on a date, you're taking a risk. So like if you're not willing to like take the risk and feed me and you're only like down to take me for drinks, I find that weird. Like I'm not into that.
We're not enemies. We're both victims of an economy that priced out the American dream and left us fighting over scraps. So what's the answer? It starts with honesty, honest conversations about money, about expectations, about what's actually possible. It means letting go of the fantasy, the 666 checklist, the $30,000 wedding, the idea of one person should be carrying everything. That model is dead. What we actually need is partnership. Two people building together, sharing the load, creating something sustainable instead of performing something impressive. The couples thriving right now aren't chasing a 1950 fantasy. They sat down, they looked at their bank account, looked at each other and said, how do we build this together? That's not settling, that's wisdom. Men, your worth isn't your wallet. Women, the man who builds with you might be worth more than the man who performs for you. The math isn't mathing because we're using an old formula. It's time for a new one. You can't keep blaming each other for problems the economy created. We can't keep holding on to expectations that stopped being realistic decades ago. The 1950s are gone. The economy changed. And if we want love to survive, our expectations have to change too. Not lower, just more honest. Drop a comment. If you had to choose between love or financial security, which would you pick and why? Because that's the choice this economy is forcing on all of us. Until next time, stay aware of the math. Stay honest about reality. It's been your girl, Remi Rene here. I'll see you guys in my next video.